Hello everyone and welcome to Handmade Creations and another tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to crochet fingerless gloves. A 5mm hook here, and I have some category 4 red heart yarn. This is like a beige kind of colored yarn. So we're going to go ahead and begin, and we're going to start off with our slip knot. And if you don't know how to make a slip knot, you can always go and check out one of my beginner tutorials to learn how to make a slip knot. So now what we're going to do is we are going to chain 11 chains. We're going to skip one of our chains. We'll at the end, once we're done, we'll have 10 chains. We'll have 10 stitches. But for now, we're going to go ahead and crochet. We're going to chain 11. Okay, so now I have my 11 chains, and I'm going to skip that first chain and go ahead and make a single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to do this all the way across. When you get to the end, you should have 10 single crochets when you get to the end of the row. And when I come back, I will be right at the end, and I will have 10 single crochets. And now we have 10 single crochets going all the way across. Go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're going to begin single crocheting into the back loop. This is going to give our ridge detail of the glove that you saw in the beginning of the video. So we're going to go into that back loop only and make a single crochet. Now, when you look at your stitch, at the top, it looks like a little V on top. So depending on which way your swatch is turned, that's going to be the back loop. So this is the back loop, and this is the front loop. And you want to go into the back loop with your single crochet. And you're going to do this all the way across. And when you get to the end, you should have 10 single crochets in the back loop. Okay, so I have 24 rows. I added an additional row so that it would fit around my wrist comfortably. I'm going to go ahead and fold these in half, and we're going to bring these together with a simple slip stitch. So you want to bring both ends together. Make sure that you're on the opposite side of the project because we're going to turn it right side out. I'm going to insert my hook here, and we're going to start bringing these together with a slip stitch. So now you want to make sure that your panels, both ends, are even. You want to go into this first back loop of this single crochet here, and then put your hook into the other panel, the end of the other panel. That is the first single crochet that we are slip stitching into. We're doing this in the back loop. So here's the next one. Go into your next stitch, that's number 2, and do a quick slip stitch. So I'm going to do this all the way across until I get to the end of the row, and then we will continue from there. If you need to slow down the video, you can do that so you can see exactly where I'm putting my hook. Just slow it down a little bit so you can see a lot better as to where I'm putting this. And I also have a tutorial on how to single crochet in the back loop under my beginner tutorials. You can check it out there as well. It's much slower and a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, so I am finished this last single crochet in the back loop, and so I can slip stitch it to this other side. And this is 10 10 slip stitches across. So now we're going to go ahead and work on the top portion of this glove. And in a moment, I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to flip our work inside out, right side out. And as you can see, if you look and see, the only reason you can see that there's a seam where the seam is because I have my hook there. But as you can see, you can't even tell where that seam is. So I'm going to go ahead and try it on and see what that feels like. It feels great. It is 24 rows of single crochets in the back loop, and it's not too tight and not too loose. So now we're going to work on the palm portion of this glove. Okay, so we have our glove right side out now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a single crochet to each of these rows. Again, we're working on the wrist, the bottom of your palm portion of your hand. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a single crochet in each row across. When you're done, you should have 24 single crochets going around your glove. Okay, so we are on the last, well, I finished the last single crochet of this row. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet of the row. So now here is where you want to gauge, because everybody's hand is different. Everybody's hand is wider than the other. So you might have to increase as you're going up your arm. I'm going to go ahead and increase so that it can fit around my hand properly. I'm only going to increase in this one row. I'll try the glove on again and then see where we go from there. So that's how you do it from here. From here, you want to make a few rows, make 1 or 2 rows, and then check it on your wrist. Make sure that it's not too tight, not too loose, and then continue on going around. The way you want to increase is you want to increase every 10 chains. So you want to put in 10 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in the following stitch. And that's going to give you a slow and gradual increase as you're going around your gloves. Okay, so we are now at the end of the row. I'm going to go ahead and put this final single crochet in here. Actually, I'm going to put 2 in this last single crochet from the previous row. And there we have it. So I increased only, I think, 2 stitches in this entire round. And again, you want to keep trying it on, making sure that it is fitting your wrist properly and it's not too small or too tight. So we're just going to keep continuing going all the way around until we reach the bottom portion right up under the knuckle for your thumb. Okay, so I'm going to take it off and we're going to continue on. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch from the previous row, the first single crochet from the previous row, and do a quick slip stitch and chain 1. So now we're basically just going to go around and around, all the way around. Continue with your rows up until you reach right up underneath your thumb knuckle. Okay, so I'm getting closer to the area where I want to stop and go ahead and make my loop around my thumb. I'm going to continue making a few more rows until I get to the point where I want to be, which is a little bit closer to the knuckle of this glove. Okay, so I'm back and I have some more rows here that is just positioned the way I want it to be, the thumb. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook and we're going to begin making these chains. I'm going to make 7 chains that's going to go around my thumb. That fits my thumb comfortably. If you have a fatter thumb or a smaller thumb, then you want to make less chains. But I'm going to go ahead and slip it on and give it a test and wrap the chain around my thumb, making sure that it goes around comfortably. It's not too tight and it's not too loose. So that is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put my hook back onto my loop and make a slip stitch in the stitch across that goes around my thumb. Make a slip stitch into this stitch here. So we're going to chain 1, and now we just continue to go around with the stitch with your thumb. We're going to keep going around in circles until you get it to the height that you want it to be, until it reaches the bottom portion of the rest of your fingers where your first knuckle is. Just slips right in. Now, it's a tad too big for me. I will have to go back and take out some stitches and fix it. But I at least wanted to be able to show you what it looks like when you get to that point. Okay, so this is the finished product. I'm currently out of town and I forgot to bring my other glove. So I just went ahead and whipped up a green one real quick for you. But this is the end of the tutorial and this is what the glove will look like. It's still a little big on me, so I will have to decrease some or just take out some stitches. But this is what it looked like.